Newsroom Africa. Bafana coach Hugo Bruce says the team was at a disadvantage because some of the teams that were at the Afcon have most of their players playing in Europe leagues. He says SA players need to get the opportunity to go to Europe and be challenged more. Welcome to today's news. Yeah, basically we'll be talking about and doing some analysis on the news going around, and also especially concerning the Afcon. So Hugo Bruce, I don't know, sometimes you just say things and you contradict what you say before. Initially you were praising the Bafana team, saying that because they play from their home clubs, the South African League is the reason why they are going to go far, they are going to do well. You even use it against other countries like Nigeria and all that. That because they are playing in their home soil or they are in their clubs. So, but definitely, I'm going to make my own point stand here, because sometimes it's good to make things clear, not trying to be how will I say, tactically correct in your statement or whatever. So my point, this is my point, right? My own opinion. For a team to play in their local league, I'll just make two statements. For a team to play in their local league, it helps a coach. Whether you're a coach or a manager, it helps you to create a team easily. My own opinion. But if your players plays in the highest clubs like Europe, it actually helps you as a coach or a manager also to help individual brilliance, and also help you to have more game changers, like when it matters, because they come with a lot of experience, you understand. So for me, what teams that have less of their players playing their local league, what the challenge they have is that too many stars that can't actually make a galaxy. So it's a two-edged sword. There's nothing. So it's good to merge them together if you're opportune to. But I see a lot of people prefer a team than individual players. You understand? So for me, the Bafana team, I think the Bafana team can still go far, or um, will go far, but the problem is the coach. A good coach can make a team. When I say a team, players that are playing their local leagues and they are united, that creates that atmosphere of being a team. A good coach can actually. I'm saying a coach now, not a manager, because to put it out there, a coach is what makes is someone that makes um, it makes a player outstanding. It creates the best out of a player, no matter the level of football you play. So in most cases, if it's an upcoming player or player that plays in your local league that is not well known, a coach can actually refine you to be a top player. But the manager does not have that time. A manager is good for stars, to make them form or create a galaxy. So in my own opinion, it also has its own ups and downs. But if you can infuse the talents together, fine. But if you ask me, I would prefer to have a team than have my players play in Europe, but they can't make it. They can't make a team, because it comes with its own challenges. Most of the time, the dressing room is always a problem when you have players of such. But if you have a team, everyone is equal, no ego, respect. They pay attention to what the coach tells them to do. You understand? So, for me, Hugo Bruce, I don't know. He's not consistent with his words. So I'm actually against what he said because okay, let's digress a bit with a bit of example. If you check the team that Cameroon used to win the previous Afcon they won, they changed literally every of their teams, and those teams were like stars, right? That couldn't make a galaxy, and they won under this same Hugo Bruce that is talking about. You understand? You can even play in Europe, but you're still not good, like the local team. Hugo Bruce used these guys to win the Afcon that no one expected them to go that far. So it's contrary. Now, if you talk about the golden age, the golden like okay, take a look at Zambia. Zambia won Ivory Coast with all the stars of Drogba, of Yaya Toure, name them. Which of the team or which of the player in Zambia then that plays in Europe? But they won. They won. They beat big teams. You see? Now take a look at even Nigeria itself. In the so-called golden age, in the beginning, I'm not talking about when they now start going to Europe. In the beginning, they had that foundation of local league experience. You understand? Which made them to have a team. It made them to have a team, not individual. So those individual is left on the coach to improve them to that standard. So in my own take, I don't think if you have players playing in Europe, top clubs, fine. Then you have a little bit of your focus should be on making them to be a team, play them, make them to become a team, which makes it easier because it's easy to make stars, to create a team out of stars, than for you to make a team to become stars, which makes you require a coach, not a manager. So for me, I think that's my own opinion. That statement is actually, I think it's just an excuse, just an excuse. So now, what is it saying to Africa concerning going to World Cup? You're telling us now because you crashed out of Afcon, so therefore uh, no one should expect anything from you. You already laid your complaint there. You're even going to play people in the World Cup that are Europeans. So we should just expect that that is the excuse. For me, it's very expensive, and that can actually it can lead to being fired. Yeah, because it seems like you don't believe in your team, and you have a tournament of if they didn't qualify for the World Cup, I would say okay. But you have a tournament that you've qualified for, huge one, the best tournament in the world, and you're giving this kind of excuses. When is these players going to start playing in Europe before that match or before that tournament? I don't know. You go. I don't know how you make comments sometimes. It's very expensive, very very expensive. And if you still keep your job to then South Africa really wanted you. They really want. They really love maybe the little things you've done and all that. But that was very expensive. It's not. It's a moral drop for your team. You know. For me, it didn't sit well, and I totally disagree because you've done it before with a team that does not have that players that plays like Europe. Yeah, you've done it before. So what is the difference for you to replicate what you've done in this Bafana team? Yeah, the match against Morocco and Cameroon. I don't know. One thing I know is okay. Let's take a look at Algeria FC. What they say on the social media. They say, "In what word is that? Not a penalty for Cameroon? There is no point of playing this Afcon 2025 if CAF is just going to hand the title to Morocco." Yeah, that's how I feel. I watched the match and I was so biased about the officiating. Are you serious? Like seriously? 2 clear penalties. They were disallowed. So this is this thing I keep saying about North African countries. They have a way to bully, a way of bullying the referee. You know, they have a way of bullying the referee. I felt so pity for Cameroon, especially when they came back. They were trying to, and these things happened after the pressure. And you know, a goal can make a difference. Maybe if they're giving them this penalty, even if it is one, it will change the whole scenario of the game and the energy of the game. This was the same thing that happened in Afcon. Laser lights everywhere, trying to bully the referee. Still, Nigeria came back and won. And remember, there was a penalty before Nigeria came back. The Falcons. They came back in that final. It's still in Morocco soil. Morocco against Super Falcons at the final. Look at it happening again. There's a clear penalty that would have changed the whole. We understand. Oh, the host team needs to remain in the tournament in order for publicity, in order for fans, you know. But what is the beauty of the game if you have rules? If you can't keep to the rules, what's the point? You should just give the host team the cup. My opinion. My opinion. Because this is really not looking nice for African football. This is a clear penalty against Mbeumo. And this other player in the 18-yard box. No VAR caution, no call up from VAR, nothing. It's just they just overlooked it. And the replay kept showing it, which was obvious that was penalty. So you see the North Africans, especially all the time, they're always bullying the referee. Any little thing they rush to the referee. Ah, no, you must check, you must check, you must. Even when they know obviously they are wrong. So I don't know. And you see the other part of Africa, especially West Africa, they don't really have that aggression, like forcing the referee, confronting the referee, you know. But North African countries now, we had even the one of the Afcon I was giving an example. They had to sue the referee because they felt the officiating was bad in the Afcon. After the game, they sued the referee, and there was actions taken. Look at this one now. Clear penalties. Clear penalties. So I think this is the same thing that's going to happen between Nigeria and Algeria, because is whenever North African countries are playing, you see all these things. You can if you check properly, you see that even the match between Nigeria and Tunisia, there was something close to that also. Look at the handball that happened. That was in a natural position. They were given that handball, and if that game was, you see, after 3-0, they were 3-0 down. Tunisia were 3-0 down. Now after the penalty, they now had to score again. Now you see the energy was changing. That's one thing they are good at. That's one thing they are good at, and that thing is very, very wrong. Referees must check all these things. You don't need to be bullied by a crowd or the fans in order to blow something you're supposed to blow or check what you need to check. If it's offensive, it's offensive. If it is not, it is not. You don't have to be bullied by what's it called? By the fans or the audience. Do what is right. Check it. You know? So for me, it was a clear robbery against Cameroon. You know? One thing I know is that there are nations for tournaments, right? For an instance, I was having a conversation with someone before the game that Cameroon played against South Africa. So guys were really checking on latest things. So South Africa are playing good football. They have a team now. There are tournaments, like for an instance, in Africa. When you talk of Afcon, you see Egypt, you see Cameroon, you see Nigeria. These are the three teams I'm going to mention, right? Egypt, Cameroon, Nigeria. Okay, let's say Ghana, right? The reason why I mentioned Ghana is also because they are the third highest in the tournament. They won it 4 times. Nigeria won it 3 times. So the first is Egypt, second Cameroon. These teams, right? When you meet them in Afcon tournaments, you don't underrate them, even in their worst situation. So I told this guy, I said, look, my heart, right, will say, okay, let South Africa go through because currently they've stepped up in their football. But I remember what Cameroon did with the same coach. Imagine changing almost the whole team from the beginning to the end, and you still won. You still won Afcon. No, it's like saying Champions League belongs to Real Madrid. You see, it's like saying Barcelona owns La Liga. You see, so there's a culture in a tournament. There are certain countries or clubs that when it comes to this tournament, you don't underrate them. It seems like they are bright prize, like they are birthright. I mean to say, they are birthright. Like they will stand up and they'll step up. This game showed that the fact you're Morocco, you've gone far when it comes to African history football in World Cup. You got into the farthest part when it comes to African countries representing Africa in World Cup. We get that flag, but we know you only won Afcon once in your history. So you can't compare yourself to the second country that won it, like in the history of Afcon. They are the second that won more trophies in the Afcon. Even in their worst situation, they will turn up. The only time they don't turn up is when they are playing those countries that are also like them, like Nigeria, like Egypt. You get a point. Yeah, Cameroon can lose against those teams because they have the same culture and vibe. But you see, just like the last Afcon, the last Afcon before Nigeria got to the final, you see how South Africa tried. They played well, but a culture is a culture. They still lost against Nigeria. You get the point. So the one of the final, you can really tell that what really helped Ivory Coast in that final was because of they were the hosts. The same thing happening. The crowd, the environment, the pressure, you know. Of course, we can't overlook the function of the fans when it comes to football. It goes a long way. It's quite intimidating. It's psychologically draining. So you can't take that away. Just like what happened in this one. So I told that person that look, Cameroon are going to beat South Africa. They may not play good football, but they are one of those countries that Afcon is their bet right. They will turn up. They may beat them in World Cup qualifiers or even in World Cup. Fine. But I'm telling you, you don't underrate Cameroon in Afcon. You don't underrate Nigeria. The worst is that even if you're playing the best of football, you don't. You don't underrate Egypt. The one of Nigeria is even worse. Ever since they've been, they will win something. They hardly go home with nothing. Either they win the bronze or they win the silver. The silver, they are the highest in the Afcon. Even in the last Afcon, they were not winning so fantastic. 1-0, 2-1, 1-0. That is what you just see. They go to the final. So that thing is there. It's the culture. It's like in the DNA. Barcelona can win Real Madrid in La Liga, win them in whatever. But when it comes to Champions League, it's a different story. Real Madrid can be in their worst situation, or they say, oh, the club is undergoing too many issues. They are going, but when they come to World Cup, to Champions League with that issue, they will forget it. And regardless of the team that is playing, they will beat you hands down. Even if you have to outsmart them or play more than them, They will definitely show you, even if you have to win them, you will feel it. You will have that feel that no, it was really a fight. Chelsea also have that mind, that kind of a thing. So, especially with time to turn up, big teams. Yeah, if they ever tell you that Chelsea will beat PSG, that is the best. Like you can't even dispute it. With a shaky Chelsea, you see what happened. The Club World Cup. They played PSG like they were even the Champions League winners. So that culture thing plays in football a lot, a lot. So for me, it was actually the referee tried to mute that culture from the side of Cameroon. For me, this match would have gone into penalties, or this match would have even been won by Cameroon because I know Cameroon. If they have given them that penalty, Morocco have that thing of switching off. Even their male and female team, they have a thing of you can't find them to the last minute. And remember, North African team also have issues with physicality when it comes to playing other part of African country that have that physicality. You understand? So they would have still played well because they're tactically good. North African teams are always tactically good, but the problem is that physicality, that stamina, which let me say the West Africa always have an edge when it comes to the total Africa. They have an edge when it comes to that with other African teams. They are physical, they are also tall. You know, so the issue is that when you face countries like Nigeria, you face countries like Cameroon, you face countries like Senegal, that applies the physicality and technicality, it's difficult for you to play them. And I see that is what is actually playing out now. You watch the game, you see the game, it's just like a North Africa against West Africa. You have a Cameroon against Morocco, you have a Nigeria against Algeria, you see, and one of the Egypt. So it's more like it's going to take the tone. Look at what Morocco played in this game. You see that they are technically good, they are tactically good, right? Although also technically good. But when the Cameroon amplified or brought into the game their physicality, you see that they started making mistakes. And these mistakes are part of the football. Being able to withstand pressure, being able to still stand your head tall, stay. You can even see there were a lot of changes because the coach understood that his players are actually losing that physical. They are losing that physical combat with. So for me, it's wrong. It was wrong. I really felt bad. Like they just wanted the host to still remain. Don't take it out from the Moroccan team. Moroccan team. They played a good football. If they played well, they deserve to win. They have good team. But the fact remains that the rules of the game have to be the rules of the game. For me, I believe so much in Cameroon. I know what they can do, even in their worst case scenario. I know what Cameroon can do. Don't judge them by another tournament. See, Afcon. I know what I'm saying. If you have to beat Cameroon in Afcon, you have to convincingly beat them. Whether they are scoring goals or not, whether they are playing well or not, don't be, don't underrate them. They will hurt you because they are one of those teams that own Afcon. That's my stake. Now the big game today. I want to analyze this game, and first I'll need to put my thing out there. Uh, I see Nigeria edging Algeria. In as much as I know that this game is a 50-50 game, because if you check, both of the teams, they have outstanding players, experience from Europe and all over the world. Then they won 4 games. And they have attacking pros. Like the attack is very very sharp. In as much as Nigeria have hedged them by scoring 12 goals so far, Algeria have scored 7 goals. Uh, then for me, the attacking force of Nigeria is stronger than that of Algeria. Then it's obvious we know that the goalkeeper of Algeria, you can't compare it to the goalkeeper of Nigeria. That's my own take, right? So Nigeria will edge them, especially on the side of physicality. Algeria also have that thing of the North African team, physical team. They have issues with physical teams, and one of the things that will affect this game is the first people to score, the first team to score. It will be a balanced game, not too much dominance from any of the team. It's average. Um, Nigerian attacking force are also top notch now, and they are young teams. Mahrez is aging. Um, it's not like the Mahrez we know 3 to 6 years ago. The pace is no longer like that anymore. So following also the consistency of Nigeria, let's take out the qualification of the World Cup away because there were a lot of issues and managerial change and all that was the major factor. But now they have a good coach that have also coached a club side in Algeria, and he's a very good coach that responds to the game. He reads the game and he responds to whatever action he needs to take immediately. So Algeria are definitely going to give Nigeria, let me say, both of the team, this is their best test in order to say they are one of the contenders of the of the tournament. Nigeria have faced Tunisia. Tunisia is almost like Algeria. The only thing is, in Tunisia's team, there wasn't this outstanding class of play from players like single players like you have in Mahrez, you have the one there in Algeria compared to Tunisia. But for me, um, there's no much different. If I have to grade Tunisia style of play and pros, it's just a slight different. If I grade Algeria 80%, I'll grade Tunisia 70%. My opinion. So Nigeria faced them, and you've seen how it went. You saw how it went, and in that game also, what what Tunisia did in that game that I don't think Algeria will be doing in this game is to defend. I saw that Tunisia was waiting for counter, and because when you defend, you're actually exerting pressure on yourself, on your team. So if they had come out to play like the way they played during the end of the game around the 70th minute, I think they would have made a difference. But because they know that Nigeria have sharp attackers, you never can tell. Maybe if they'd done that, the goals would have been more. So, but I see Algeria not doing the same. I see Algeria being confident to come out and play, not like Tunisia. And even in this tournament, most of the teams that plays like that always get punished by Nigerian team because they have sharp attackers and good midfielders. So they will hurt you. So the fact that you're waiting for a counter, it won't happen. So if Algeria really want to make this game to get something out of it, they must come all out. That means their defense must be very strong, because also Nigerians attacking force is very very powerful. So you can't underrate a team that have won 4 out of 4 and have scored the highest goals in this tournament, 12 goals. So the only weak point Nigeria have is that they've conceded in almost all their games. They only kept clean sheet in their last game against Mozambique. But Tunisia, Algeria, I think they only conceded one, and they also won 4 of their game, but they scored only 7 goals. So for me, it's a balanced game, but I see Nigeria edging. The fact that they might score Nigeria because of that defensive thing, but I see Nigeria scoring more. I know the thing. If you know you have sharp attacker, just make sure you score more than you concede. So that is what I think will happen here. And at the side of Nigeria, the time when they used to switch off and start conceding might actually hurt them because the Algerian team have what it takes to do that. So that's my take. If you have any of your opinion different from mine, you can drop it on the comment section and I will attend to them. Thanks.